Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 6th TECHNA Symposium. We live in exciting times, in an exciting country, in an extremely exciting city. I must say Toronto has become a remarkable place to be able to say you're from. And many people ask, how do I get there? Maybe even Amazon will be asking, how do I get there, after Google arrived on our waterfront. And in many ways, it's exciting because technological innovations are changing the very nature of our collective connectedness. And the futurist Stephen Johnson believes that it is changes in connectedness that actually really drive and enable innovation. Whether it is in the coffee shops of Europe, where early conversations started in the 1800s, or in the development of the World Wide Web by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN in the 1990s, the progressive advancement and connectedness of humans and ideas, where they take their hunches each one has and they fuse them into an idea that turns into something real, an invention, an innovation. That connectedness is really key. Digital technologies are transforming this connectedness like never before. The way we engage each other. If you're not on your cell phone right now, I'm very happy. I'm actually maintaining your engagement. The way generations talk to each other, we now have different approaches. If you're born 5 years ago, you're a Snapchat person. If you're born 10 years ago, you're a Facebook person. If you're born further than that back, well, I don't know, with whatever you're using. It changes the way we engage government. And we'll hear about that today and how digital is changing the conversation with government. And remarkably, and unfortunately, how the government talks to the rest of us, occasionally a little too much on Twitter. And it changes the way we think about our work. It changes the way we define value, which is really interesting. And it changes the way we seek to maintain our health. Digital technologies are most powerfully changing the way we think about measurement. Yes, I said measurement. Measurement is a very powerful thing. And the cost of measurement has plummeted. The sequencing of the genome is a beautiful example of that. And digital allows that data to move, and that data to move and maintain a context, which keeps its value. And when we think about measurement, we're not just talking about Fitbits. We're talking about patient outcomes. We're talking about the value we see from our investments. And we all know, if you listen or read about Peter Drucker, only what gets measured gets managed. So healthcare is ripe for real innovation, and it's a combination of measurement in context, which is very important, and digital capabilities. They'll be the critical part of the mechanism that lines up the incentives to drive value for money. Getting this right in Ontario promises to deliver innovation for the planet and build prosperity and health for Canadians. So good morning and welcome to TECHNA 2017. My name is David Jaffray, and I'm the director of the TECHNA Institute and Executive Vice President of Technology and Innovation here at the University Health Network. And I'm delighted to see the interest and engagement in today's symposium. TECHNA 2017, Policies and Mechanisms for Healthcare Innovation. As new technologies emerge, as our context changes, as measurement becomes possible, what does it mean for how we drive innovation in healthcare? Technology is changing our world. Are we going to change to capitalize on that or not? We have an exciting lineup for you today with perspectives from thought leaders in healthcare innovation. We have perspectives from digital societies that are emerging. The digital health industry is here at scale, and novel economic paradigms and how they enable innovation will also be discussed. While TECHNA is known for its technology, this conversation drives us to the question, in a value-based healthcare paradigm, how do we build an ecosystem for successful innovation? An ecosystem that accelerates innovation and assures value. How do we make an innovation economy in healthcare? How do we get the incentives aligned? How do we build the ecosystem? If you think about a value-based approach, you might say, it's really hard to see the value of a new technology because it's not going to be measured for 5 or 6 years. So how do startups survive when you're not going to see the value for 5 or 6 years? How do we decide not to put out more coal and pollution in the ecosystem when global warming is not going to show up really for 10 years? How do we bring that future problem to an incentive structure today? We need to think about that because if we're going to be a competitive ecosystem where our startups are successful, we need to make sure that we can get that early investment, that early stimulus for those moving forward. This is an important question for our individual and societal health and for our social wealth in Ontario. So we end the day with a debate. Two individuals that are like in the trenches of startup in Ontario are asked, does a value-based healthcare system pull you to Ontario or push you out? And if we wanted it to pull you to Ontario, to keep the jobs and keep the economy and keep the innovation, what should we be doing? What kind of ecosystem do we have to build? So it's an exciting day. We're fortunate to have the support from Tecna through the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, supported us originally, the Carlo Fidani Foundation, the Guerin family, and the Agnico Eagle Corporation. They've been incredibly helpful for us in establishing Tecna. And this year's meeting is supported by the Peter Munk Cardiac Center. We'll hear from Barry Rubin just in a few minutes. And we're delighted to have partnered with the Office of Ontario's Chief Health Innovation Strategist, Bill Charnetsky. Bill's here in the design. Thank you very much, Bill, for being here and helping us make this an exciting conversation. And to know that the government is listening. And I know you've been very supportive in this regard. So there's a couple of housekeeping items. The first of all, safety. While you all came in through those doors, you need to know that those are also exit doors. And maybe not such a safety issue. Behind those doors is where the washrooms are as well, in case you're looking for them. Number two, at the end of today, from 3:30 to 6, we've been invited by JLabs. Thank you very much, Johnson & Johnson and Janssen, for their support. So JLabs is on the 13th floor of the tower next door, and it'll be open from 3:30 to 6 for a networking event. And if you're in and out today and you have to step away, please consider coming back for the networking event from 3:30 to 6 at JLabs. It's a fantastic space, and they've been drawing commercial excitement and engagement across the area for quite some time. The last thing that I have to update you on is the continuous engagement opportunity that we provide as part of the Tecna Symposium. And the slides are up. What happens during the course of the day, you can text questions and comments. You can sort of type tweet. We have a little bit of filtering going on. The filtering can be a good thing sometimes. And so there's two approaches to use it. You can just text a message to that number that's indicated, 37607, and search your response, and it'll show up on the screen. Tracy over there is watching to make sure it's reasonable. And the other approach is just go on to the web if you don't want to build, if you're paying for your texting. You can go on the web, and there's a website there called pollev.com/Tecna2017, and you can log into that website. And it's quite interesting. Send up your questions. If someone uses an acronym that you don't understand, ask, what does that acronym mean? And someone in the audience will tell you what the acronym means. And it's a very nice interactive approach. So if you want to test it, we got a little question for you, I think that's some of you probably know the answer to. Who won the World Series last night? Don't tell everybody. This is a poll. So far, yeah. Well, actually, this is actually a test. Since the answer is clear, we're going to find out if we have some, user operation issues here. So, yeah, some people will make some minor mistakes. It's completely reasonable. So we can use this uncertainty in any of the subsequent polls moving forward in our power calculations. Okay, so without any further delay on my part, now that you have that skill set, some of you, I'm delighted to invite opening remarks from our sponsor, key sponsor for this year's Tecna 27, the Peter Munk Cardiac Center, and its leader, Barry Rubin. Barry is well-known in the community, driving innovation, leadership in cardiac care here in Toronto and recognized nationally and internationally. And it's a delight to have him present some of his thoughts on innovation approaches that have been advanced through the Peter Munk Cardiac Center. Please join me in